Hare Krishna, we will resume our session for another 30 minutes.
Recording in progress.
We are now in the beginning of the Uddhava Gita, the story, text 24. In this regard, sages cite a historical narration concerning the conversation between a greatly powerful King Yadu and an Avadhuta. So, Lord Krishna will narrate this story to show Uddhava how rational intelligence can be utilized in Bhakti Yoga to acquire Vedic knowledge, and how ultimately an intelligent person will come to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the purpose of the story is how to use your intelligence in Bhakti Yoga. And in our search for Krishna, these 24 goals are going to help us. 25. Maharaj Yadu once observed a certain Brahman Avadhuta, who appeared to be quite young and learned. Wandering about fearlessly, being himself most learned in spiritual science, the king took the opportunity and inquired from him as follows. Yadu said, "O Brahman, I see that you are not engaged in any practical religious activity, and yet you have acquired a most expert understanding of all things and all people within this world. Kindly tell me, sir, how did you acquire this extraordinary intelligence, and why are you traveling freely throughout the world, behaving as if you were a child?" So, King Yadu had a little problem with the Brahman here, because King Yadu, the king is a Kshatriya, and what's the duty of the Kshatriya? To be sure that everyone is engaged, to assure that everyone is engaged in the duties of Varna and Ashram. That was the duty of the king. And he sees here a Brahman, and he's just wandering around, and he has great knowledge. He seems to be liberated, but he's wondering what's the situation with this Brahman, because I don't see him being engaged in the duties of a Brahman. There are 6 duties of a Brahman. Adhyayan and Adhyapan, the study and teaching, that's the first duty. Jayan and Jahya, performing rituals and sacrifices. Archan, worship and puja. Dana and Pratigra, charity and accepting gifts. Then mantra and anugrah, guidance and counseling. Tapas and chaucha, austerity and self-discipline. Yeah, but he sees, yes, this Brahman is not doing these duties, but still he appears to be learned. How did you get this intelligence? That's the question. 27. Generally, human beings work hard to cultivate religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and knowledge of the soul, and their usual motive is to increase the duration of their lives and acquire fame and enjoy material opulence. In the purport here, at the end, most common people think that, for example, that the yoga system is meant for improving one's health, that one may pray to God for money, and that one's spiritual knowledge is meant for increasing one's prestige in society. Maharaj Yadu wants to clarify that the young Brahman Avadhuta is not like an ordinary person, and that he is actually on the spiritual platform, as will be explained in the next verses. 28. You, however, although capable, learned, expert, handsome, and some cloquant, are not engaged in doing anything. Nor do you desire anything, rather you appear stupefied and maddened, as you were a ghostly creature. That 28. First paragraph of the purport. Can someone read the first paragraph?
Yes, Maharaj. Ignorant persons often think that renounced spiritual life is meant for those who are impotent, or homely, or incompetent in practical worldly affairs. Sometimes foolish people say that religious life is a crutch for those who are not expert enough to achieve a high status in society. Therefore, King Yadu has described the qualities of the mendicant Brahmana in order to show that the Brahmana has taken to renounce the spiritual life, in spite of great potential for worldly success. The Avadhuta Brahmana is described as being expert, learned, good-looking, eloquent, and in every sense qualified to be a great material success. Still, the Avadhuta has renounced the material life and taken to Krishna consciousness, going back home, back to Godhead, for an eternal life of bliss and knowledge is the real work of a human being.
Thank you. 29. All the old people within the material world are burning in great forest fire of lust and greed. You remain free and are not burned by that fire. You are just like an elephant who takes shelter from a forest fire by standing within the water of the Ganges river. That the second part, the purport. That can someone read Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati explains?
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that within the Ganges flow great currents of water capable of extinguishing a blazing fire. If an elephant maddened by sex desire stands within the Ganges, its powerful cooling currents extinguish his lust and the elephant becomes pacified. Similarly, ordinary human beings trapped in the cycle of birth and death are constantly harassed by the enemies of lust and greed, which never allow the mind to be completely peaceful. But if following the examples of the elephant, one situates oneself within the cooling waves of transcendental bliss, then all material desires will soon be extinguished, and one will become Shanta or peaceful. As described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeva Shanta. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyamila 19.149. Thus, everyone should take to the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and cleanse himself in the cooling waters of Krishna consciousness, our real eternal consciousness.
Text 30. O Brahman, we see that you are devoid of any contact with material enjoyment, and that you are traveling alone, without any companions or family members. Therefore, because we are sincerely inquiring from you, please tell us the cause of the great ecstasy that you are feeling within yourself. Interesting. The great ecstasy. What does that mean? Let's say, someone can read the purport?
Yes, Maharaj. The word Kevalatmanaha is significant here. Unless one has practical realization of the Supreme Soul and the individual soul, who reside together within the heart of every living being, it is very difficult to artificially adopt the sannyasa order of life and travel without the association of wife, children, and other family members. The nature of every living being is to make friends with others and to offer his life to a suitable person. One who has realized the Supreme Person is satisfied to always carry the personality of Godhead within his heart as his constant companion. Unless one has realized that Krishna is one's only true friend and that Krishna is within one's heart, one will remain attached to the temporary relationships of the material world.
Thank you, Mother Radha Prema. 31. Lord Krishna continued, the intelligent King Yadu, always respectful to Brahmins, waited with bowed head as the Brahman, pleased with the king's attitude, began to reply. And here is his reply. The Brahman said, My dear king, with my intelligence I have taken shelter of many spiritual masters. Having gained transcendental understanding from them, I now wander about the earth in a liberated condition. Please listen as I describe it to you. So, in the middle of the purport, that in reply to the king, the saintly Brahman states, I do not consider the 24 elements of the physical world as objects of my sense gratification, and therefore I don't consider accepting or rejecting them. Rather, I accept the material elements as my instructing spiritual master. Thus, even though wandering throughout the material world, I am never bereft of service to go. Taking shelter of steady intelligence, I travel about the earth constantly, engaged on the transcendental platform. By intelligence I transcend useless desires, and ultimately, my ultimate goal is loving devotional service of the Lord. Now I shall explain to you about my 24 spiritual masters. So, he does not see the object of this world as being for his sense gratification. He sees them as his gurus and learns from them. That's interesting. It is quite a different way of seeing the world. We will read the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I have taken shelter of intelligence, not instructions from someone else. Thus, I am liberated from the suffering of samsara. I learned from 24 gurus. Let me now tell you the names of the spiritual masters. So he will mention these 24 gurus in the next verses. There's 33. Now we will hear them. I have taken shelter of the 24 gurus, who are the following: the earth, air, sky, water, fire, moon, sun, pigeon, and python; the sea, the moth, the honeybee, elephant, and honey thief; the deer, the fish, the prostitute Pingala, the korara bird, and the child; and the young girl, the arrow maker, the serpent, the spider, and wasp. My dear king, by studying their activities I have learned the science of the self. Purport. The wasp is known as Supeshakrit because it caused the insect that it kills to take a beautiful form in the next life. So that is these 24 gurus. Now 36. Please listen, O son of Maharaj Jayati, O tiger among men, as I explain to you what I have learned from each of these gurus. 37. Now it starts with the first guru. A sober person, even when harassed by other living entities, should understand that his aggressors are acting helplessly under the control of God, and he should never be distracted from progress on his own path. This rule I have heard from the earth. So the earth is a symbol of tolerance. It's never distracted from progress on his own path. So the earth is symbol of tolerance. By deep oil drilling, atomic explosions, pollution, and so on, so the earth is constantly harassed by demonic living entities, sometimes lush, Lush forests are cut down by greedy men with commercial interest, and thus a wasteland land is created. Sometimes the earth's surface is soaked by the blood of soldiers in fighting in savage warfare. Yet despite all these disturbances, the earth continues to provide all the necessities of living beings. In this way, one may learn the art of tolerance by studying the earth. What does the earth has to tolerate? And what is the philosophy behind the tolerance? So whoever gives you trouble in life is acting helplessly under the control of God. That's the philosophy. What can you do? Only accept and tolerate. They are instruments of your karma. They are the messengers, the reaction of your karma. And that's this verse of Brahma, of course, that is always quoted in this regard. Tatena kampam samiksham o bunchat maivat ritwak vipakam. Tatvich, ja. Tatena kampam samiksham o bunchat maivat ritwak vipakam. Ritwak
Good work.
tadanama namaste chivetyo muktipade sudayavad. So, the devotee sees when trouble comes, then he understands it's a reaction to my own past misdeeds. And he's thinking, Krishna is so kind, he gives me only a little trouble. So someone gives you trouble, and we are not retaliating, we are accepting. Yes, it's a reaction. Thank you, Krishna, I've paid. But then it's finished. The chain of reaction comes to an end. You have paid. Good. But if you think, oh, this is unfair, what did this person do to me? I will fight against it. I will not tolerate it. I will retaliate. I will get this person. There you go again. A new string of karma you make and further reactions. But just tolerate. As a first lesson in Bhagavad Gita, Matra Spastikanta Sitisna Sukadukado Agamapin Nityastam Stitipsasva Bharata. So, the next verse is the mountain and the tree. And the purport is in the next verse. Yes, Mother Emma Gopi.
Maharaj, what is the line between tolerance and not accepting abuse? Thank you, Maharaj.
That yes, tolerance and not accepting abuse. You are abused in this life because you are abused others in previous lives. So the fault lies in yourself. But of course, when someone abuses you, you must do your best to stop the abuse, to go to the authorities and try to find a solution. That's your duty. That if someone causes you distress constantly, try to find a way to end it, but not by retaliating, but accepting that it's not that when a tiger attacks you, that you say, oh, good, mercy of Krishna, and the reaction comes, wow. No, you flee for your life. Yes, that we must take appropriate action, but not to retaliate, and always knowing the fault lies in me, and not see the person who causes all these reactions as the cause of our trouble. is not a cause. The cause is our own reactions and is ordered by Krishna through material nature to bring us the reaction. That is the truth. That so tolerating is the best. 38.
Maharaj, I have an extension of that question, Maharaj.
Yeah, you have a problem.
No, if the person who is abusing, if he or she is taking that route, saying that because you have abused in the previous life, now you are getting abused, and so you have, that's why you are being abused, and taking that as the route they're abusing, then what should be done?
Yeah, it's not that you can go to the judge in this world that, yeah, then I deserve it. Because in my previous life, this person is innocent, he was just ordered by the Supreme Lord, so don't put him in jail. That's wrong. That's wrong. Clearly wrong. Because the other person, that is the point of intricacies of karma are difficult to understand, Krishna says. The person brings you a reaction, that's one thing, but the person also creates for himself a reaction at the same time, because he's doing unlawful things in terms of the laws of Krishna. But that's not your business. That's been between him and Krishna. We have to be not to be the judge there. But if this person does unlawful things, you must report to the authorities, and then the authorities will take care of it. Is that clear?
Thank you, Maharaj.
My question. That because this philosophy is not a license to do unlawful things. No, not at all. Text 38. That I think there's the next one. The mountain and the tree. A saintly person should learn from the mountain to devote all his efforts to the service of others and to make the welfare of others the sole reason for his existence. Similarly, as a disciple of the tree, he should learn to dedicate himself to others. So they are serving others. Can someone read the first paragraph, the purport? Great mountains.
Shall I read one?
Yes.
Great mountains bear unlimited quantities of earth, which in turn give sustenance to innumerable forms of life such as trees, grass, birds, animals, and so on. Mountains also pour forth unlimited quantities of crystalline water in the form of waterfalls and rivers, and this water gives life to all. By studying the example of mountains, one should learn the art of providing for the happiness of all living entities. Similarly, one may take excellent lessons from the pious trees who offer innumerable benefits such as fruits, flowers, cooling shade, and medicinal extracts. Even when a tree is suddenly cut down and dragged away, the tree does not protest but continues to give service to others in the form of firewood. Thus, one should become the disciple of such magnanimous trees and learn from them the qualities of saintly conduct.
Thank you. that there is a puppet here from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He speaks of the mountain and the tree, which also represents the earth. The mountain always devotes in efforts for others by holding up the earth, producing waterfalls and giving jewels. The devotee should learn this conduct from the mountain. As a disciple of the tree, he should learn to dedicate himself completely to others. One can take the tree from one place to another, plant it and water it. The tree accepts this and does not protest. The yogi should be like that. This is the particular nature of the tree, not seen in the mountain. That now Krishna, he appreciates also the trees. Let's see if we can find Krishna's appreciation of the trees. Canto, chapter, Canto 10, chapter 32, 31. Only that doesn't seem 32. I think I've other, not really the right verse, right chapter. And we have to go to Canto 10, 32. No, there's an hour here. Anyway, so the supreme characteristic of a saintly person is to desire the welfare of others. That is the supreme characteristic. There is also a purport of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj in verse 38. An intelligent person should learn from the mountain how to devote himself to the service of others, making their welfare the sole purpose for his existence. This is also the lesson learned as a disciple of the tree. That's the verse and the purport, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj. The mountain is made of stone, but clay is not so hard. That is why the hard mountain can sustain the soft soil, but soft soil cannot sustain the burden of the mountain. The earth has two kinds of ingredients, the hard mountain and the soft clay. Everyone should learn how to perform welfare activities for others from the mountain. The principal characteristics of a saintly person is that he is always desires supreme benefit for others. Otherwise, selfish interest captures the living entity and induces them to become envious of others. The lesson to be learned from the tree which grows on the earth is to tolerate disturbances caused by others. The non-devotee materialistic enjoyer considers all items of this world to be objects of his enjoyment, but the devotee considers all items as his spiritual masters and learns from them different things. That is the nature of a devotee. Worship of the Lord is possible only when one becomes tolerant as a tree and as immovable and steady as a mountain. Otherwise, an intolerant person can never engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. That is why Gaura Sundara has instructed everyone to be as tolerant as a tree in order to chant the holy name of Lord Hari. So, we will stop here. We will continue with text 39 tomorrow. Thank you very much. Then,
His Holiness Bhakti Prabhu Swami Maharaj ki jai.
yeah, so
Thank you, Maharaj.
tomorrow we continue with the chapter. There are only a few verses left, and then we will go in chapter 8, the story of Pingla. Very interesting. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.